Up until this point, I was 23rd. So we touched lightly on like my tough childhood and things that I went through. So I really expand on that in my book, and like domestic violence and the sexual assaults I went through, and like just growing up.
Dwayne Chapman, Dog the Bounty Hunter, was once. He is famous for being the best on reality TV. Was known for being a strict personal style and a famous mullet to match his job as a bounty hunter, though there was a behind all the fame and success. An interesting past with a broken family bonds at last. 72 Dog the Bounty Hunter is letting people know about one of the clues that have left his fans imagining the stars for years. Revelation finally puts out the fire. Want to know what really happened to baby family history of Lyssa Ray Chapman, or as Dwayne Chapman and his third wife Lyssa Ray Britton called her by a cute name? Lyssa was born on October 10, 1987. Day of June, and her past nickname is pretty cool. While it is a cute way to show affection, thanks to her parents also called her Baby Lyssa to make her stand out from she is one of Dog's 12 children, which always comes with an inherent. Lyssa Ray's family has a good size. Her family has a complicated history with her father began when he was very young. According to the TV personality, she had to watch out for herself from a young age. This was because of the place where she grew up was very chaotic, and the hard times her parents were having at the when Lyssa was born. Dog the Bounty Hunter was already having a rough time. He was trying to come up with a name for himself and working hard in bail bonds to make money off of his truths about his life were also full of. He has problems with addiction, which in turn the early years of baby Lyssa's life were marked. Life while Dog the Bounty Hunter was alive had a hard time with his addiction to Lyssa Ray. Lyssa's mother uses drugs. Britton had to deal with a lot of struggle with drinking too much there. It showed their journey as a family on the big screens, and while the Chapman family on TV bond looked like they were pretty close, behind closed doors, there was a lot more to the story than what fans knew. To the Dog's marriage to Lyssa's mother did not last forever. In the end, the headaches that came with their personal lives got into his or her relationship. Dog got married in the end to Beth Chapman, who was well known in her own as a bounty hunter and in real life. Dog and Beth took on their goes on trips as bounty hunters and puts them in plain sight for everyone to see. Was made to work together in bounty hunting heaven, and their house gave them a sense of life and excitement, but that was very different from what Lyssa did in the Chapman. The house she lived in was an environment, something that wasn't very stable or full of life, but she kept going through all of the chaos. She saw the tension between Dog and Beth about how to live with a dog. They'd fight, and the house would be filled with the stress of it all while the camera was rolling, and it looked like very good, but when the cameras weren't there, baby Lyssa's reality was caught on film. They got angry at each other at times. Other important people in the Chapman clan: Dog and Beth. Many fans didn't know of this particular truth, but when the show began, Lyssa saw it all. There were bound to be private bouts of fight that didn't happen on screen. Lyssa was right there in the middle of all of. In the end, this became the source of baby Lyssa's crazy sense of who she is. Her parents had just split up, you see. And she then spent time with both of them. Mom and Dad. She spent time with her and some days with her dad and Beth. She was thrown right into a young age because she felt torn between a tide and a wave. Getting stuck in the middle of two adults arguing or having problems didn't help her. Chaos had a big effect on her sense of health and safety, and the fact that they didn't know about the fight at home threw a wrench in the works. Baby Lyssa had to watch out for herself, and as she grew in the gray clouds of pain at her dad's house one day, she came across a point of no return that would change both like her and the Dog's lives. Will never end. Things got even more difficult. Lyssa was 11 years old when she feared the feeling of not knowing what to do and not feeling safe, which caused a shocking charge against her father. She said Dog did something wrong, being mean to her, a lie that she later took it back when she said this charge against her father. It was a awful means to an awful end. Baby Lyssa was sick of living in a house. The future is uncertain and certain tensions. The woman was dying to leave what was a dangerous place for her. Not only was there disagreement, but there were also substances and a lack of safety. Lyssa's mother believed whatever she said. Accusation mostly because she was mad at him. There was a bounty hunter who spoke to Dog. His claims were not backed up by anything. His daughter made him, and he didn't have to deal with any charges in court because of the accusations. That being said, Lyssa's mother was care of Lyssa, which meant she is finally no longer living with her father. This caused a rift between father and daughter, which caused a rift that would keep them away for many years. Now, many years later, baby Lyssa admitted that she had hurt others by what she did. Her dad's reputation at the time, but it was also a matter of desperation as a child living in a bad place outside world. One of the saddest things about dog little Lyssa, the bounty hunter's daughter, is that she became an adult too quickly. A hard childhood that led to a number of things that happened that would change the course of Lyssa Chapman gave up one of her lives for one at age 14, and the father of the child of her daughter was caught for not behaving properly with Lyssa Chapman, considering he was in his 20s at the when Lyssa Chapman went to her dad's reality show in 2005 after moving back Hawaii when she was 18 and a teen mom. Her mother and she didn't get along. The best and the one with her dad hadn't changed. Lyssa was still taking care of her child without a solid. She was living in Alaska and needed help. She was poor and felt when she was with her mother as if her future didn't exist before she joined the show. She had a hard time get by and raise a kid, all the while her dad was getting even more by the day. But Lyssa didn't have any getting to the show while living in Alaska. She was aware of how famous her dad was. She didn't know if she would ever meet him again. They hadn't talked to each other in a while, and she started to want to see him again. That's when she left Alaska at age 17 and went back to her dad. She took a trip with her daughter, and the people who made Dog the Bounty Hunter believed it was appropriate to record her return so people could see the Chapman family gets back together. Lyssa came back to a new world, and his father was even more well known than he had been when she came back. Was shown off. The first episode of season 2 was called Baby's Back in Town, and it brought Lyssa told the crowd that she could fix the broken bond she had with her father, eventually getting him to forgive her past charges when she first saw reality TV. She is a shy young woman, but she soon grew into the bail bond business work. She learned how to find people who are on the run and did work with her dad and Beth to join their world and give Dog the Bounty Hunter breaks. His silence to really understand how important Dog's revelations that you need to know about this father and daughter have a history together. Lyssa didn't grow up because of her relationship inside a place where she felt safe. Dog, the Bounty Hunter, let that happen. Environment to keep up there. The relationship is tough, to say the least, but their love will never end. Not fixable. The reunion of baby Lyssa Chapman with her real-life TV shows were made for dads of back then. It was a good family added content to the bounty hunting. A small group of people at the time saw baby Lyssa like a young woman eager to follow. Lyssa was following in her father's footsteps. She is back with her father at Chapman and his wife Beth. Beth and Lyssa did not always get along, but in the end they put aside their differences to make having a working relationship that was the perfect balance for the success of the show. Beth's energy was just as important for the show as baby Lyssa's hand. Lyssa was a direct person, but believable young character named Dog the Bounty Hunter is glad to see baby Lyssa again. Chapman clan, he welcomed her with open arms. An important second chance away from a lot of cameras, but at the same time letting the cameras record their new take the trip together in peace. All of Dog and Lyssa were getting old. Healing the wounds in their relationship take one step at a time. Little one Lyssa met the fake the claims she made, and Dog on the other hand, admitted to letting her daughter to live in a place that wasn't great when they were trying to rebuild their broken bond between father and daughter. Helped each other make sure the show's baby Lyssa did well on Dog the Bounty Hunter. For a few years, she turned into a fan favorite because people had seen she used to be a teenager and now she's an adult mother who wasn't sure of herself, and over time she learned how to be a bail agent. Now we get to the heart of it all. Dog says that something bad happened to baby Lyssa the Bounty Hunter. Well, to begin with, it is very important to understand that he admitted that he did what he did. Part of the broken family bond. In an interview that took place just a couple of Dog turned 72 months old a few months ago. Chapman always put his feelings out there. He put everything to rest, although there have been rumors and guesses about him, and he would finally talk to his daughter. Dog Chapman learned from the story. He thinks about himself and looks back on the things that happened in the past that changed his relationship with his daughter. Now he's much smarter now and agrees with he knows he made mistakes and says that their things may have been very different from police issues to riffs, but he always loved his daughter. The proof that the dog loves her has for Lyssa and she could do the same for him shown by the fact that they never give up on each other, even when the odds were against them. The choice to never not giving up on each other kept their bond. They were alive together and faced a landslide of unfortunate events, and through it all what happened to all of their love. Lyssa Chapman came from her rough when she was a child. Her circumstances played a part in shaping her life, but good thing she was able to make a return and figure out how to get through it all. How did Lyssa Chapman get away? There are ups and downs in Chapman's life. Feelings are high sometimes, and then there are things that remind her of the past that go. Lyssa and Dog Chapman had a relationship that was rocky and was fixed up when she walked back into his. Lyssa talks about her life and reality show. The show brought them closer together as father and son. Daughter not recognized, but what made their bond stronger had been the private talks. These private talks took place just what they needed to get better from what went wrong in the past. Through their meeting up again, Dog the bounty hunter started to let more and more of his kids help him out. Now it was his turn. Point in becoming a better dad than he had been for Lyssa before. This was the first step she took to reach everything she had ever hoped for. While the way she felt about her dog was on the fix, there were still times that in 2009, they tested their newly fixed bond. She got married when she was 22 years old. They got married and had a child. The birth of their daughter Madeline Grace, who is also known as Baby Lyssa's baby to a group of people who didn't seem to notice it. Looked like Lyssa was finally happy. And happy with her personal life, but things were not what they seemed on the outside. As we dug deeper, it was clear that little Lyssa wasn't doing so well at the time of the iceberg came up when Lyssa in February 2011, they filed for divorce. This reality star said that her husband the Brahmin Galanti had been mean to her more than once. She talked about one time when they had a huge fight that made Lyssa leave. They got home in the middle of the night. Lyssa Chapman, having left her house to stay safe at her dad's house, told them all the good things about getting together. Dog's love for his daughter stayed strong. And he got angry when he was confronted. Brahmin, he told him he would never put his hand on his daughter. It was one of the few times when Dog spoke so firmly about fighting for his daughter. According to family sources say that Dog was ready to protect his daughter even more if Brahmin Galanti wouldn't back down. Beth was also there for Lyssa when she needed help the most. During hard times, she said in public that they weren't going to stand by and let because Brahmin was bad. His family kept their word and stood by Lyssa. As the next thing she did was get a divorce from Lyssa. Took Meline into her care and won the fight with her ex-boyfriend. What stands out? The most important thing in this case is the power of family. Through it all, Craig clan was able to air their grievances, step aside to fight and stand next to Lyssa. This was a very important moment in this father-daughter link. Shows that the dog was ready to protect his daughter Lyssa from harm. Even though Rocky passed, Lyssa kept working for her father, and the divorce made things even more time to spend with her two kids' daughters. On the reality show she was in with her father was able to shed some light on some of the stress she faced, but she kept most of the details that won't be seen by the cameras. Lyssa later admitted that she was glad to have having her family by her side through it all, even more so after all these years being lost and having nowhere to go. The loving care her father showed her he hadn't given up on her yet. Even though they did date once, the broken bond and all the pain and trauma, Lyssa thought she could depend on her father while her own life was falling apart. Separate from what you think of as it's too bad that it's very likely that Lyssa has been through it all since the legal problems to the public's attention. She has always seen the bright side of things. Lyssa made a lot of money as a bounty hunter. Her well known and liked by customers, but that didn't stop more trouble. 2011 when they knocked on her door. She was caught in Hawaii for reports say that disorderly behavior. Lyssa was pounding on the door of a neighbor. When the police showed up, she knocked on a police officer, dropped her phone, and she was arrested and charged with claims of harassment and damage to property. The mugshot of baby Lyssa made the news, and fans were interested in how did things go wrong for Lyssa. Behind the scenes, the case didn't go anywhere to penalties that could change your life, but it was a wake-up call that Lyssa's life was far from being easy. Not perfect, and while she was getting better she has trouble getting along with her dad. She never stopped coming for a while. Stayed out of the way and took the time to spend with her family, and she worked with her father quickly again. In 2020, Lyssa was in yet another pickle, was arrested this time after in a fight with her girlfriend at the time, Liana Evans Smith, and a man who was in the police report, 2 counts of harassment and a first claim of while Lyssa was on bail. She spent the night in jail, and the next day she had to post a $500 bond for the harassment charge and a $100 fine for refusing to comply. Arrest claim. During this scandal, Dog the Bounty Hunter didn't say anything, making viewers and fans wonder about Lyssa, how he felt about the whole thing. Also didn't say anything about it. I tried to explain, but she finally begged me not to the charges the court brought. She was given a deferred plea that meant she had to stay out of trouble for 6 months, to meet with a probation officer and pay a fine if you don't follow the court's rules. If they were met, the charges would be dropped. And based on the facts, the case was solved, and Lyssa started over. Or at least that's what she thought. Star reality show. The events had already brought some bad press to her, but she was fully responsible for things she did on social media, sometimes jokes about having to avoid more trouble with the law, even though Dog the Bounty Hunter in the news stood by her side and paid attention to her. Going to help Lyssa as time went on. What went on in Chapman's personal life? She became Lyssa Chapman because of her rough as a child. Many fans always thought Lyssa Chapman and Dwayne Dog Chapman always got along, but that wasn't the case. They were able to start to get along, and things started to look up for their personal lives. In 2013, Lyssa Baby wrote her first book, which was a memoir that came out a year after the Dog the Bounty Hunter show was over. Writing a memoir called Walking on Eggshells, Finding Strength and Courage in the Middle of Chaos told the story of her life. In an interview, she said she was forced to write about her life after a lot of people had told her how interesting what it was that made her want to write the story. There was something about telling people about her life and seeing how happy they looked, couldn't believe she was still being there after everything she had been in. This made her want to get the story out there, and with the publisher's help she turned the Simon & Schuster Everyone Should Write a Book About Her Life. Could read in a podcast episode from 2023 she talked about in her book called The Rumor Mill how important it was to hear her story put out there for everyone to see. She felt that when people go through, especially when it comes to pop and celebrity, they don't talk enough in the culture world about how they got out of it. In her book gave teens a chance to talk about getting better, being a parent in her childhood. This might make you wonder what her dad did thought about how their family life was written down in a book, for he was so proud of his dog. It was known that he had a daughter. Sent Lyssa a note of congratulations. When her book came out, between there was enough of the father-daughter pair to go around. Dog in public shame. The Bounty Hunter had to deal with a lot of people of complaints in 2007 about a private phone. The conversation was put online. A private conversation showed that Dog calling someone a racial slur, which led to the end of his TV career, is possible, and his show was taken off the air. This terrible thing that Dog the Bounty Hunter made the whole world go into a crazed, but his daughter baby Lyssa didn't just stand behind him without question, a proof of what real love should be like to look like. She said bad things about her dad's use of racial slurs and said sorry on Chapman, her dad's guard dog. Also talked about claims of racism and denying those claims of homophobia and saying sorry for his unacceptable behavior after everything went wrong. The family real-life show could see the light once more, but in the end, it came to an Lyssa Chapman was still not ready to end their camera lives television, which she had grown used to. Started making a reality show about her own show that was far from her family. She told them about her upcoming show that was supposed to teen moms should be helped to get jobs and giving them help with their homes, where the reality star was signed, worked with Bonham Murray and closely with MTV, and, in the end, the show it never happened. But all hope was Lyssa Chapman did not lose in 2014 and made a guest appearance on the TV show Hawaii 5, and she also showed up in the follow-up to Dog the Dog and Bounty Hunter, which was called Dog and Beth on the Hunt. Alas, she gave up on the idea of going back to. She talked about reality TV and said she would do it only if it's good. Maybe a film about her life and the end of reality TV was near. Lyssa's personal life was going great too. After that, Chapman may have stay away from reality TV, but she still told her fans about her life. There were always sneak peeks from her social media fans a look into her life in the past few years. Baby Lyssa has stayed active on Instagram by works out her whole life and her dancing through social media posts and stories. The media platform she loves the most working out made her want to launch her line of clothes that had active where her line of clothes was called Baby by Lyssa Chapman, and it was set off at the end of 2019, but it took a while to get due to the pandemic. Things are running. The brand got off to a slow start. And it did well until it didn't. By in 2023, there were